I absolutely love my little Arrma Typhon 3S buggy here. I think it's one of the best bashers that you could possibly get. Best value for the dollar, best bashing for the dollar. But I've been thinking about stepping up to a more proper, race-oriented buggy. Thinking about doing something like even a techno or something along those lines. But gosh, those technos and everything are just so expensive that something like the Arrma TLR Typhon 6S and the brand new Losi ready to run race buggy really caught my attention. And so I've been doing some homework on which one I think of those is going to be the best bet. And I'm going to share those informations with you here today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Troy. This is Roadside RC. You'll tend to find me bashing or crawling or drifting or racing, plus doing product review videos and how-tos. And I do quite love getting out and running some buggies around the track. And so let's dive into why I'm comparing these two buggies. And the first part is its price, $629, is the exact same as the price for the Arrma. So there's no reason to buy one or the other there. So let's dive deeper into the details to see what the differences are. As we look at the electronics, we see a big difference right off the bat. So the Arrma 2050 kV non-censored spectrum setup. The Losi, a 2200 kV, so a little bit higher kV, but probably not. That 150 probably doesn't really matter, but it's censored. And so the cool thing about censored, oh my gosh, so much better control, so much better feel of the power. So that's a huge plus, is the fact that the Losi comes with that censored setup. The downside, though, is that setup's not going to be waterproof. And I do expect that this will probably get dirty, and I'm going to want to wash it off with a hose and stuff along those lines. And that censored setup's not going to like life. Whereas that setup that's in the Arrma, that will be waterproof. So that's a huge difference, kind of a pro and a con on both sides right out of the box. Continuing on the electronics theme, the Arrma comes annoyingly with 5652 servo from Spectrum, 23 tooth. Boo! It's only 18 kg torque, but it is waterproof, so that's a good thing. But on the other hand, the Losi, as an example, comes with the S665, 25 tooth. Thank you, Losi, for putting in the 25-tooth servo. Thank you for that. Little bit higher kg, 20 kg instead of 18, but otherwise probably waterproof still. So the Losi gets the nod on this one. That 23-tooth servo in the Arrma, very annoying, because when you do want to go and upgrade that servo, which you will, because that Spectrum servo will die, you're going to have to also source a servo horn for it. It's annoying. The other thing I was surprised by is the controllers are different on them. So the Arrma comes with the SLT3, very standard, very basic radio that comes on a lot of different vehicles. If you want to buy one of those, like aftermarket, they're about $50, something like that. Nothing very special. The Losi comes with the DX3, which is nicer, but honestly, I don't actually prefer it because it's not as user intuitive. Like if you're out in the field and you have to reset endpoints or things along those lines, a lot of the time you have to end up getting YouTube out and finding a Spectrum video on how to do it and stuff like that. So, but even though it's supposed to be a nicer controller, it's $100 if you want to buy one outright. It's supposed to be a nicer one. Neither one of these excite me, but honestly, I'd probably rather have the cheaper SLT3, which is really unfortunate to say. Past the electronics, though, there are tires on them. Both of them kind of race-oriented vehicles. Both come with race-oriented tires on them. But here's the deal. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're going to actually be serious about racing these things, you're going to end up with a stack of different kinds of tires. And one of the very first things you're going to do to either one of these is go out and buy the proper tires for the track that you're going to be on. So the tires that they come with almost don't really matter. Now, something that really surprised me as I was comparing these two was adjustability. So, Losi, race buggy, known for, should have just gobs of adjustability, but really it ends up being in the Arrma's favor. The shock mounting, much more options for mounting the shocks in different places on the Arrma. It actually has even more for the lower control arms and things along those lines, has more options there. But both vehicles have adjustable turnbuckles all around. Surprisingly, the Arrma TLR comes away having more adjustability on the suspension than that Losi does. With any buggy like this, you're gonna break it. right? Control arms are going to break, wings going to snap off the back of it, that kind of thing. So how much do the parts cost and what's their availability? For both vehicles, it was easy to find parts on both A-Main website and Horizon Hobby. Here's an interesting example. The front control arms in the Arrma, 2 for $12. For the Losi, 2 for $17. Man, that's a pretty big price jump, but $5 at the end of the day. The wing mounts, $12 for both cars. Nice. Okay, surprising here, rear wing. If you want a new rear wing for the Arrma, $15. If you want a new rear wing for the Losi, couldn't find it. Couldn't find it on the Losi website, couldn't find it on Horizon Hobby, couldn't find it on A-Main, couldn't find a replacement wing for the Losi. The last piece about parts that really surprised me is the diff gears. So the ring and pinion that make up the front and rear diff cases on the Losi, $19 for the set, $19. Especially when you compare it to the Arrma, which the ring gear and input gears are purchased separately. The ring is $22 and the input's $13. That's $35 versus $19. So at the end of the day, parts, factory parts, replacement parts, support, and price, kind of a toss-up. I think it generally is probably going to lean in the Arrma's favor, but I was a little bit surprised by that. And speaking of parts, the biggest deal here, aftermarket parts for these. When you go looking, it is so easy. I mean, you can't turn around without bumping into an aftermarket part for an Arrma vehicle. The Losi is a newer one, but it's based on some of their older platforms. There's some stuff out there, but it's a lot more obscure. Aftermarket, if you think you're going to want to upgrade it and do wild and crazy stuff with it, not just race it and replace it with factory parts, the Arrma's a clear winner. So now I'm curious, what do you think? If it was your $629 and you were plopping down for one of these two buggies, which one would you get? Let me know down in the comments. It's really close. It's fairly tied between these two. If I was going to choose, I think I'm going the Arrma. I think I am. I think I'm going to go with the Arrma. I think that's where the smart money goes. But, I kind of really want the Losi, though. I really want that Losi name, and I really want to try a different buggy in that way. So anyway, I'm curious what you have to say, what you think about this. Please go down in the comments. Let me know. Am I right? Am I wrong? Did I miss a thing that I should have evaluated? Let me know, and I'd be happy to hear it and talk to you about it down in the comments. Thank you, and goodbye.